Too Hot for TV.
Welcome back to Doctor Who Too Hot for TV. We are the podcast that this Christmas, and it is Christmas, looks at all things Doctor Who annual story related. Today, I'm joined by Iain Martin. Iain, Merry fucking Christmas.
Merry fucking Christmas, and I hope you jingle all the way.
I often do.
That's what it says on the toilet wall.
So, little mini episode, we're going to talk about Class 4 Renegade, which was from the Doctor Who annual 1984. Are you an avid reader of annuals? Did they play any part in your life?
I had precisely one Doctor Who annual when I was a kid, and it may not surprise you to learn it was the Doctor Who annual 1984. Which I got for Christmas in, I'm guessing, 1983.
You did?
So I'd have been a tiny wee young thing of -20. Would have been my approximate age, listeners. And at the time, I loved it because I loved anything to do with Doctor Who fairly indiscriminately, with no critical faculties to bring to bear on these things. And yet, for whatever reason, I never got another Doctor Who annual.
Well, there was only a couple more after this until the new series came back.
Oh, I suppose they probably petered out. No pun intended. Was there like one or two for Colin? Maybe
there was two for Colin, and then none for Sylve. Although he does get heavier features, I think, in the yearbooks. You remember DWM stuff?
Oh, I do, and they were fine. But those people who brilliantly made that annual for Series 4 of Blake 7, if you're listening, we want 3...
Oh, no, they've done them.
Have they done Sylvester McCoy annuals?
They've done 3 McCoy annuals, and I think a McGann one, and the one year that there wasn't a Pertwee one, they've done that as well.
Oh, wonderful.
I think I've got one of them somewhere. I think I bought one during lockdown and never read it, but I will at some point. I'll dig it.
I'm certainly going to source each of those 3 Sylvester McCoy ones. I'm a bit pissed off that someone's already done them because now it means I can't write a story for them. But what's your background with these things?
I had quite a few annuals as a kid, but obviously they'd stopped making... I was born in the year this was published, the year of 1983. And they were the sort of things that you always picked up at car boot fairs and in charity shops for like 10p. So I ended up getting most of the annuals. And then there were some more expensive ones from the 60s, which I don't think I got. But then I think my dad bought them eventually. Many years after I left home, he obviously went up to my old bedroom and went, well, we need a complete set of these. So...
That's the sort of silly dad project you want them to lean into instead of buying a sports car or playing golf for 10 years.
Exactly. Well, my dad doesn't get me Christmas presents anymore, except he always buys me the Doctor Who annual.
Oh, well, I suppose that's nice. It depends on the annuals. I mean,
I never read them.
No.
It is just amusing that is what he gets me, a selection box and a Doctor Who annual.
I mean, that's getting like mainlined pure Christmas from your childhood, right? You get
absolutely
chocolate and a Doctor Who annual.
But I remember, like, the covers were always very enticing, and then the contents was just sort of impenetrable even as a kid. Not because it was overly complicated, but because it just wasn't really Doctor Who.
Well, now this brings me to my sort of central thesis, where I have fond memories of owning this annual, and I can remember certain things and sort of revisiting it for this and flicking through it. I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that picture. Oh, I remember that picture. Oh, there's that article about all the doctors. But it's all just so wordy. There's no comic strips. There's no, like, let's waste a page by having a word search.
No.
It's just an anthology of basically, I guess, about 7 or 8 stories written by people who I would suggest have never really watched Doctor Who.
No.
And as a kid, I suppose even then, even as uncritical and unquestioning as I was, maybe the reason I never wanted another annual enough to ever ask for one was because it was like, yeah, I don't really understand what this is.
I mean, what I will say for this annual is that in some of the early annuals, they really don't want to pay copyright to use the likenesses of most of the characters apart from the Doctor. So they will redesign Sarah Jane Smith or Leela or the Brigadier. Here, at least, the likenesses are very much there. And there is some quite nice artwork within it.
It's true. There are some really good pictures of the Fifth Doctor. In some of them, he's even wearing the celery. But there's quite a lot where he's like painstakingly drawn from behind, where it could be anyone. And you think, well, what's that really adding to the... I think there are two in the story there are two in the story we're talking about. Indeed, there are three pictures of the Fifth Doctor in this story. And two of them are him from behind. And one of them, he's about an inch tall in the far distance. So, but that's just the vagaries of picking one story to talk about. Tegan's good. Actually, and I someone else may be talking about this, but there's a story called The Volcanist Deal, where Turlough's wearing an extraordinary shirt.
Where is that?
It's the next story on from the one we're talking about, and he's just got these sleeves that make him look like a new romantic. So it's sort of like where Turlough meets Spandau Ballet.
Yeah, no, I dig it. I dig it. Good old Turlough.
Yeah, bless him.
Yeah,
Flouncy.
Yeah. Or has he taken the sleeves off his jacket?
Oh, he has. He's turned it into a sort of ill-advised waistcoat. What in the name of Father Christmas's festive baubles is going on here?
I've approached a few people about doing these annual stories, and the majority of people are like, which one shall we do? I don't know anything about them. You went straight for this particular story. Why did you do that?
So, not a lot of this annual is in any way memorable or really of merit, but there was something that obviously sunk into me and survived in my memory, and it's the idea of the characters. And I'm sure in my memory they used to be three people with three separate names, but now they're just called Das and Pete, because I'm guessing they're made of Dan, Samuel, and Peter. Das and Pete. And so in a very sort of Moffat-y empty child kind of way, they've been repaired by an alien medical facility that thought they were like one being. So you've got this kind of 5-legged, 6-armed, 3-headed blob called Das and Pete.
How bad a state must have they have been in that crash for them to think, oh, these must all go together? Because surely, if you're in that state, you're probably dead.
I mean, so the guy in the middle, let's guess he's Sam. He seems to have one leg. The one on the left, that's going to be Dan. He's fine, but he's got an extra arm growing out of his chest. That's not his arm. Yeah, that is the closest. If he needs a wee, that's the arm he's going to use. So they're all basically touching and holding each other's bits.
How many cocks have they got?
Well, this is the thing. I'm going to speculate that so Pete on the right, I reckon his has probably perished.
Yeah.
I'm guessing Dan's is probably fine. Sam, maybe he's either still got his plums or he's got his tonka, but not both. And so you've got probably 2 cocks at most.
2 cocks. Oh, poor guys.
And it's probably like the human centipede, because they're probably joined internally as well as externally. So if Dan eats a bowl of all bran, it's like one of those things where you drop a coin down a thing and it could come out anywhere. Which arse is that all bran coming out of? So this is the kind of thing that's stuck with me.
Of course.
And over the years, I've given it a lot of thought. And because I remember Das and Pete and the name Das and Pete, and it was literally because this was my only annual and this is the only story I could really remember. This was where I wanted to revisit.
What is the story?
So the Doctor has brought Tegan and Turlough to a planet because he has gaps in his databanks about this planet. And he finds this weird creature that's made up of 3 people who should by rights be dead. And they say, could you do us a favour and help us find our missing robot? And the doctor's like, no, we're here for a very specific purpose, which is unusually brusque for this doctor. But in the end, they persuade him and his companions, Tegan and Turlough, to scour the planet to find this missing robot. That then happens. They have these things that look like sort of washing machines. They're called hover hoppers, and they're sort of flying cars. So, and rather than just have one with 3 seats, they've got one each, which seems a bit, environmentally suspect. But nonetheless, they're flying around this planet, and in the space of maybe 2 or 3 pages, they find this robot. They discover that there's a double cross. Das and Pete are in fact 3 crooks who have this a thing. It's called, I wanted to say anthracite, but it's not called anthracite. That would be anthrac, which I think I had one of my honeymoons in the village of Anthrac in Cornwall. Anyway, they discover that the robot knows where this chemical energy source thing is, and Das and Pete really want to get it back because it's worth quite a lot on the black market. So the Doctor and Tegan and Turlough find the missing robot, who looks a little bit like the robot from the Doctor Who story Robot.
He does indeed.
And then there's this really bizarre ending, which really doesn't belong in the Doctor Who universe, where the baddies and the robot are boiled alive in a big vat of acid, and sort of Tegan's like, oh, I'll keep the remains of the robot. That'll make a really good paperweight. Because Tegan is an unemployed former airline stewardess. If there's one resource she really needs, it's a paperweight for some reason.
I think she just likes big things shrunk down to small sizes. She probably put it next to Aunt Vanessa.
Maybe maybe it's like now it's the perfect robot for Aunt Vanessa. Or maybe it's to keep Aunt Vanessa on her desk, because maybe she keeps rolling off. I don't know. So that's the story. Did you read it? Did you have any thoughts?
I read it and I had very few thoughts apart from I wonder what the stories are like in the modern annuals, because we must have evolved from this, surely.
Well, the example, if you'll allow me to use the expression example, would be Stephen Moffat writing the Sally Sparrow story in one of the annuals. And then that was so good that he was able to turn it into an episode of Doctor Who. I believe it was called Blink. Some people may have heard of it.
Do you think they could do that with this?
Sadly, right now, I think they could. I think there are people out there who would do that. I think it would be absolutely diabolical if that happened, because, as I said, this is just not a Doctor Who story, and the ending is so out of step with everything that Doctor Who should be doing, and certainly doing for children, because of all the kind of spin-off media that's aimed at children, but adults enjoy it, or it's aimed halfway. These are only aimed at children. They should only be happy endings. And no, this is just terrible.
It's interesting that, so we start bang down the middle of the story because there isn't enough. Bang at the start of the story. I know that's a weird thing to say, but there's no the TARDIS lands or
there's no preamble.
There's
they walk outside and get captured.
There's no where are we this time, Doctor?
Yeah.
They've just got to jump straight into it. The companions have zero personality, although they do say that Tegan and Turlough bicker, but they don't actually show them bickering. So I guess that is something. And the Doctor, I mean, it's just the most generic version of the Doctor you can get. But it's not Peter Davison. It's not the fifth Doctor.
It's not the fifth Doctor. I'm going to find the actual line. I'm fairly certain it's on the first page. Yeah. You've got to help us find our robot. I'm sorry, said the Doctor. I am here for a specific purpose. I can't double up as a robot recovery service. Now, Troughton could have said that. Pertwee, maybe.
Yeah.
Possibly Tom, but I don't think so.
No.
But it's not Peter.
I could see Colin Baker doing it.
You'd think Colin Baker would have a specific purpose.
I do wonder, this may not have been adapted for TV, but was it a direct influence on the writer/director of The Human Centipede?
I hope so. I'd like to think that inspiration was, it planted a seed in some fertile soil. So what the writer wanted to do was awaken in children a love of science fiction and adventure and prose. And what he actually inspired was, as you say, the human centipede, where 6 people are sewn together so that the first one eats some food and the poo works its way through all of them sequentially. There may be other things that happen in that film, but that's the only takeaway that kind of stuck with me.
I think it was a kid like yourself going, oh, that's an interesting concept, and then thinking a bit too hard about like how their digestive system works. And they goes, imagine if they'd sewed Sam's mouth to Pete's arsehole, and that is how it's born.
I mean, it's the sort of thing that, as children, I'm sure we all wondered from time to time. But yeah, so this is now that we sort of unpick some of the issues that it presents us with, this is a really fucking disturbing thing to be giving kids for Christmas. So thanks, Dad. Appreciate that. But yeah, wow, it's so weird.
But what a beautiful story. Do you have anything else you want to say on it?
I don't know that we can get too much more out of it, really. I think it's interesting that the people, the artist is the word I'm looking for. The people who did the art. Fuck me. You can tell it's nearly Christmas. I've had far too much cherry brandy. But the people who've done the artwork here, they know their Doctor Who. They've taken the robot from Robot as their kind of visual cue. They can do an excellent rendering of Davis and Tegan and Turlough. Dasam Pete looks great. They know what they're talking about. They know Doctor Who. They know science fiction. Whoever wrote the story, and we don't know who that would have been, I would argue, while they are, I'm sure, a perfectly serviceable writer of annual stories for, rent-a-brand kind of hire, I don't think they know anything about Doctor Who beyond it's a space program where people have adventures.
Every annual story that I have read for this podcast at various points, nobody behind these annuals has any idea what Doctor Who is or what happens in it. It's just a series of events happen in space, and that's basically it.
So, right, what we should do is we should get together, maybe 10 people like us, 10 other podcasters or, creative types, identify a TV show that none of us have ever seen and write an annual. Everyone writes a story for that.
Dark Shadows, the annual, coming soon.
Yeah, absolutely. Or something in a genre that none of us watch. Sex and the City, I don't know. Yeah, something. There's got to be something we could that would be this exact experience so that other people would know what the hell we're talking about with this kind of thing that is part of our childhoods but has no bearing on what we loved as children.
Yeah, it's like someone's given them an outline of what happens in Doctor Who and they've gone, right, I can nail this. I can
hold my pint.
I can churn out 10 stories in an afternoon.
It's nice work if you can get it, but I'm not surprised they didn't put their name to it.
Well, look, what a great journey we've been on with this fantastic story, and Dasam Pete will live in my memory now as I think about the number of arseholes they have.
Well, I like to bring the spirit of Christmas alive in a wonderful new way.
Well, Merry Christmas to everybody listening. This has been Doctor Who Too Hot for TV. I have been Dylan.
And unfortunately, I've been Ian again.
And Merry Christmas, everyone.
Jingle, jingle.
Doctor Who. Too hot for TV.
Incidentally, a happy Christmas to all of you at home.